Hallo Thorsten.
Hallo Michael. Es ist wieder
Da sind wir am heiligen Abend und damit möchte ich auch allen Zuschauern, allen Zuhörern erst einmal frohe Weihnachten wünschen. Und ich hoffe, ihr hört euch das, so ein bisschen hoffe ich, dass ihr euch das erst nach Weihnachten anhört, damit ihr die Zeit mit der Familie ein bisschen genießen konntet und dass wir euch jetzt wieder dabei haben dürfen, freut uns auf jeden Fall. Wir haben ein kleines Special vorbereitet, wie so viele kleine Special in den letzten Wochen.
unser Weihnachtsgeschenk quasi für euch.
Und wer die letzten Folgen gehört hat, der weiß, dass das ein kleines bisschen außerhalb der Komfortzone ist, weil wir nämlich jetzt in Englisch wechseln werden. Also für alle, die es bisher genossen haben, uns auf Deutsch zu hören. In diesem Special werdet ihr leider mit unserem Englisch gepeinigt. Zum Glück seid ihr das nicht nur alleine, das wäre ja langweilig. Also sind wir nicht nur alleine, sondern wir haben uns spezielle Gäste dazu eingeladen. Auch der Grund, warum wir in Englisch sprechen werden. Und damit, welcome to some really special guests from our Teams Nations, Vesku, Chris, and the other Chris. Welcome.
Welcome.
The Talk Microsoft 365 format. We already had a short chat. This format is about talking Microsoft, the Microsoft universe. And you're a big part of this Microsoft and Microsoft community parts. So please, who would like to start with a short introduction? Raise your hands. I will point to someone. Okay.
Hi everyone, my name is Hoard. I'm a partner education lead consultant in Fusion here in the UK. I'm a Teams MVP. Really happy to be on the show, so thanks for inviting me.
We're really happy and glad you are here. So
thanks, Mike.
Shall we switch to the other Chris? I think I've seen your hand as well.
Yeah, so I'm Chris Webb. I'm a cloud solutions architect for a oil and gas company here in Dallas, Texas. Microsoft MVP, and here to talk about all the good Office 365 stuff. Or Microsoft 365. Man, I still haven't got around to the change of the name yet. Still early for me.
Can imagine that. Now, let's go for...
I didn't raise a hand. Okay. Hello, everyone.
So I told you I will point to you.
Yeah, I noticed. All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Vesku, and I'm a principal consultant and a teams lead at Sulava. I'm also Microsoft MVP, and I've been actively working in the community for a few years now. So it's a pleasure to be here talking to you in a more relaxed way. And as you noticed, the introductions are not the thing. I raised my hand first.
Okay.
But you will know Vesku very well after today's session.
Probably. We all like to talk a lot. That's for certain. And yes, I'm based in Finland. If you didn't guess from all this, trying to stay in the back end on this introduction part. And I have no idea why it's so difficult for me, but that's always a struggle. But yeah, and I live in Turku, which is on kind of southwest side of Finland. And no, we don't have snow. And yes, it's dark.
That's a good preparation. You already answered the most common questions. That's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, we have sauna in the apartment as well. I had to bring that in.
Okay.
Perfect.
Then we can close the session. The most important questions are answered.
Yeah, except Chris, Webb, how much do you have snow?
Hardly ever. When we have snow, it's like it's like a wish come true here because we see it so very few times. So I think the last time we got snow was probably, I don't even know. It's been at least 3, 4, maybe 5 years ago. So it's a rare sight here.
It sounds a little bit like Germany. It's not so common in Germany as well. We get it to some very unpredictable times, usually at the end of the summer and really at the end of the winter, and the rest is like spring.
Yeah, we only get snow when we host a Super Bowl, apparently. Our one time to host the Super Bowl, and it like blizzard and iced up, like it snowed and iced so bad that it almost canceled. It's like really the one time out of all these years, and it happened then.
Perfect timing, anytime. So you are not all of them, but you are the main organizers. You are missing one person who may join or may not join during this session, Adam. But you are the backbone. You four are the backbone, the idea behind the Teams Nation. Maybe you can explain a little bit what is Teams Nation for all the unknown people who live under a stone.
I mean, I can start off with that. I mean, Teams Nation is both a monthly meetup, a global meetup of people from several different countries, but also as well, Teams Nation is a community conference that takes place usually twice a year. Now, we've been running Teams Nation for a few years, but Teams Nation is a new name. You may have previously heard it called Teams Fest, and with Teams Fest and now Teams Nation, it really is all about bringing together Teams professionals from all over the world to come together to share and democratize knowledge. We run the event, the community conference, and all the monthly meetups. They're absolutely free, 100% free, and they're community focused. So we block off having business sessions or selling sessions, as it were, or third parties selling stuff to this audience. We want to keep it about the community and to keep it about tech. It is something that started off very, very small. So when we first started, it was just myself and Adam at the time. And the first Teams Fest was, I think it was about 20 speakers, if my memory serves me correct, and maybe about 300 attendees. And that's evolved over the course of the last few years. So the last event that we had in October, I would say had about, I think it was almost 1,500 attendees and had over 90 sessions that were running during the course of the day. So momentum has really grown because of it. Vesku or Chris, is there anything you want to add to that?
Something like the meetups, the Euroteams, Euroteams UG, it was difficult to say anyway, so it was a kind of a good idea to tag that user group along with the name change. And so it has been growing as well. It was a very kind of I can't say random, but it didn't happen every month earlier during the first year. But now we have picked up some pace there, and we are trying to aim to do a monthly, about 11 meetings or meetups, 10 to 11 a year. So that's kind of bringing up opportunities for people to start their speaking and hopefully getting along to the MVP funnel through that.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the main reasons, as kind of suggested by Vesku for the name change, was there was two main reasons. The first is that we wanted, based upon the user group, which was European Teams user group, to move or pivot away slightly from the European name. There were many community members that were all over the world that would join the groups. We wanted it to be inclusive. There, the appreciation of Teams is global, not just restricted to Europe. So that was one of the reasons, to give it more of a non-geographic name. The idea that we're a nation together of enthusiasts and advocates of Microsoft Teams. The other was because there was an organization that also started using the names Teams Fest, and we weren't so beholden to that name. We were looking for something anyway, so it was a good opportunity at that point in order to be able to change it and move it to something that resonated. We reached out to some of our community friends. We ran it past them and said, "Look, does this resonate with you?" And the feedback that we've got is that yes, that sounds good going forward. So that was back in November. So we've really pivoted the monthly meetup and the community conference and aligned the name going forward so that people would recognize it. And most importantly, we checked the domains and we checked that name wasn't being used elsewhere. So we shouldn't have any problems in the future.
Yeah, I remember when we were trying to figure that name out, went probably 2-3 days of just hundreds and hundreds of ideas.
They were all serious names, right?
Yeah. I can't even begin the amount that we cycled through. I mean, we have a WhatsApp group with the four of us, because I mean we talk every day, right? And we were cycling through all these names, and some were very comical, some bordered on being absolutely ludicrous that you would never choose in your whole life. And but we did get there in the end. In fact, actually, when the name Teams Nation I was actually telling my son off at the time for him doing something naughty. He's only 4 years old, and for some reason the name came into my head, and I checked out with the guys, and it was, after 2 or 3 days, the first thing that we all actually agreed on, and then decided to run with that.
Yeah, you're not only running the Teams Nation, you're also very strong members of the tech community. I think last year at the Ignite, there was fun Twitter posts. I don't know who posted it, but please guys, hold up. Tech community is currently out for the Ignite, and just a picture of you four. Adam, Vesku, Chris, and Chris. So
I think Laurie was in that picture as well. Laurie Pottmeyer.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I met these guys through the tech community when I very first started out, like before I became an MVP, when I just started doing community work. And I guess, the other guys would say the tech community is really good going in and helping people. I mean, essentially it's a forum, right? So you go in, you answer somebody's question, and there's a real it gets addictive after a while, because you like helping people, you like helping them either sort out their problems or kind of I would say help them understand the product better, and through that I met Adam, Chris, and Vesku, and it's kind of developed in that time. So when you get involved in a tech community, you start coming into contact with the Microsoft product group through things like what they call Ask Me Anything sessions, or opportunities for sessions that the product teams might actually run. I met Adam through on one of those sessions. The session was actually by Laurie, and it was how to become a Microsoft MVP. And Adam, Adam, he was in his car at the time, darting off between consultancy sessions, and I recognized him and reached out to him. And the same with Chris. And the cool thing about it is that there is a little bit of competitiveness that underlies the tech community. You want to prove that you can answer the question the quickest or the fastest, but it's all in the good spirits. And Adam and myself were, when we started, Chris had already been around there for quite some time with Juan and Vassal and some of the other guys. I mean, Chris, I don't know, you might want to say a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I was probably a good 9 months to a year before Chris and Adam showed up on the scene, because it was just me getting most of the team's answers and stuff. And there was a couple other people, but I was probably the primary Microsoft Teams guy in the community. And then Adam and Chris started showing up, and then we started reaching out someday on the private messages and just kind of kind of taking jabs at each other, saying, "Hey, I'm going to pass you this month, and you're going to pass me this month." And it kind of started out friendly banter, and then we started getting used to each other answering, and we'd start pinging ideas off each other, and then we found out, Ignite came up, and we found out we were all going to be there, so we all met up because we were used to seeing each other in the community. And Ignite's really, I miss in-person events a lot, and I'm sure most everybody does with COVID going on, because we could go to Ignite and then meet everybody in person that we would be talking to throughout the year on the tech community, and we just all have the same mindset, same common themes and interest in 365, and we just hit it off, and ever since then we've been best of friends. So it's been a really good experience.
And if my memory serves me correct, Chris is actually the first MVP ever to receive his MVP because of, or primarily driven by, tech community contributions. I mean, because Chris is a bit of a demon on there. I think it might be the way that he gets set up, but I mean, his speed of responses and the answers that he gets. So tech community is kind of really the thing that started it all off for us, because the conversation that I was having with Adam around Teams Fest, which is now Teams Nation, all really started, if you trace the kind of genealogy of it all the way back, it started off in tech community. And I think that's what drives a lot of us, just helping people to, the feeling of being able to take the pressure off somebody during the day or help them understand something. I don't think there's any substitute for it, as it were. And Vesku, you do a bit of tech community as well, don't you?
Yes, I have done, but much less than you guys, because you can practically live there, but I only visited once a while. It was fun when I first met Chris Webb at the MVP Summit in person, kind of trying to figure out how he can answer all those questions so fast, because it was so slow on computer. So that's why. But it was fun, and I was sticking around more or less, and I still, of course, visit it now and while. I should do more, but it takes time always. It has gotten faster, so and better.
And the cool thing is, again, like Chris was saying about Ignite, Ignite was the first time that I'd met everyone in person. But up until that time, you're on the forums with them, you see them at a virtual event. But that was the first physical event, and there was no awkwardness when seeing them. It was just continuing that conversation. It was just like, "Hi, how you doing?" And then you start talking about, there's no kind of awkward introductions. I remember we were with Amanda and Vesku. We all went out for dinner, and we'd sat around that table as if we'd known each other for years. And the same like when Chris and Vesku and Adam and myself went out for a kind of a tech community dinner. That was funny. We can't say what happened on that eve, but it was a funny time. I look forward to it next time in a different city.
Yeah, or maybe the same one. We'll see.
Great to hear that. Michael and me, we had probably the same situation a few years ago. We started to do the Skype for Business user group here in Germany, and we are coming from the same country, only a few hundred kilometers away from each other. And we had to fly to Ignite to meet in person the first time. So it was very cool, and for sure also how to say Zufall. Help me, Michael.
By accident. Accidentally. So in the middle of 20,000 people, basically we just ran over the floor, and I read this face, and I know him.
You know that one?
Who are you?
Yeah,
something like that.
And at things like Ignite, you get to know those people over time, the people that you may have gone to or inspire.
Are you okay, Chris? Are you okay?
I'm good. The camera fell off.
Okay.
And no, I was saying you get to go to Microsoft Ignite and Inspire, and I'd gone to Inspire in particular in Vegas a few years before that, and you're sitting in the auditorium and you're watching those people speak. And when I was in Ignite, there was a party that was held for the team's MVPs, and we were all there in a room with everyone we'd seen over, for the last kind of 3 or 4 years. You're just wall to wall with people that you saw on that stage, and you get to know them and you get to be good friends with them. And it's kind of, when anyone asks me, they say, about community, they may not see an immediate kind of jump to that kind of community level, but that's what started by going onto the tech community and answering a few questions. That's what it kind of led to in the end. And I can't even believe what Ignite, if there is another kind of Ignite in person, it's going to be crazy for all of us, because there's going to be like 300 or 400 people that we're going to be hanging out with for 4 days, and so many friends, and go and learn tech, and but at the same time go and have fun.
Let's not tell anyone, but we are not going to learn any tech. We just hang out with each other.
I think that's probably true.
Yeah, what got me started at it was 1 year before I think we all met up. I don't remember. They all run together now, but I was at Ignite with a coworker, and we were walking around, and they had the little tech community, like tech zone. They call it something else. It was like community zone or something like that set up. But they had these monitors set up from the tech community, and they had like these little like circles with pictures on them of like who was the biggest contributors of tech community. And I was looking at that, and I was like, I had just answered or been on there a few times, answered a couple questions, and I turned to my coworker and I was like, mark my words, next year I'm going to be the biggest picture on this screen. And I went back, and that next year I was the #1 contributor in tech community by quite a bit for that year, but they didn't have the monitors. I was looking around the Ignite for it. They didn't have it. I was like, oh man, come on. But it's all right. It turned into MVP. So.
And that's the contributions that the MVPs and the people who are involved in the community do. It goes like kind of way beyond just a blog or a talk. They're doing it all year long. So that's I think that why there's so much more of a camaraderie, because not only is it fun, but we have an understanding of how much people do in their own time, going beyond their work. We all of us have young children, as it were, so we have a busy family life and a busy works life, but we still always try to make time for community and reaching out to have a little bit of fun and share all of that enjoyment in tech. It's it's the best thing that I've done for sure for the last few years.
Yeah. We were just talking the other day that our tech community contributions have gone down because we've been doing so much other stuff, and we've been talking about we need to get back on doing that, because that's our roots, and that's a lot. And I mean, and they need us now more than ever, because it's been growing by a lot. We were just in a session yesterday saying it was like 600% increase over, I don't remember, since COVID started or something on the tech community. It's gone way up as far as volume and the amount of usage and visitors and everything.
I guess that a lot of people are using the tech community now to get answers to their questions. So you are using Microsoft Teams for the first time and have some questions regarding how to use this, how to join a meeting, how to switch to the right camera, and all the stuff. And tech community is a great place to put a question in and to get an answer very quickly. And
yeah, and you get to meet some really, really good people through it. I mean, if you kind of persist over, some people, they come and go. They do a month and they may not see any feedback from it, or they might not feel like they're getting anything from it, and they'll leave tech community. We've seen lots of people like that. But for the people that persist with it and kind of stick through on the tech community, we get to know them really well. So Juan Carlos Gonzalez. Yeah, Vasil Michev, Peter Rising, Christian, can't remember Christian's surname for the life of me, but he's kind of recently been in the last 4 or 5 months, and he's doing really, really well. And we try to reach out to them, make friends with them, and say, look, you know, there's more kind of beyond this point. You know, have you considered coming to the AMAs? Have you considered, you know, maybe taking a step up and moving this to speaking? You get to meet people like Ali, who's heads up all the Office 365 MVPs. You get to meet Anna Chu and the team, so people like Sarah, and they're people that are really up there within Microsoft. You know, they you know, they got a lot of responsibility. That's also another benefit. You get to know people at Microsoft. You get the opportunity to feed back, which ultimately makes better products and better experiences for people too. That's what you want to see. You know, you want to not just answer their questions, but you want to take what it is that how they want to get involved in the product. You drive them to use voices, or we can put them straight back to the product or engineering teams as MVPs. So we're a bit of a conduit for their voice as well. So there's a lot of satisfaction to be had in tech community for sure.
Yeah. For me, it's also good to see the communications, the feedback with other teams guys. So I had the chance to write an article for the tech community blog a few weeks ago, and it was amazing to see how many people around the world give you feedback to the article itself and go into discussion with you, and over this way you get a deeper knowledge about the product. You wrote a blog article, and it was quite amazing to see this. Great chance for everyone of you.
There are so many people that look at it all over the world. For perhaps it might be only people like myself and Chris who use it really frequently, but even when you answer somebody's questions, we looked back in time, Chris and I, and you've had 300,000 views of your question on Tech Community, which is going to be, you know, far greater exposure than any singular blog, as it were, would do. We've asked for data of all of our answers, how many views, and for Chris's and mine, who's been on it a long time, they run into the, I wouldn't even like to know the number, Chris, about how many views for all of the answers we've ever done. What, it must be close on 1 billion in terms of views.
I don't know about that. 1 million at least, but
it's a lot. It's a lot. But for anyone who's starting out, they think, how can I help the community? That was all the path. That was the day one, before the blogging, before the speaking, before the events or anything like that. It was just answering a single question for somebody in that tech. It's a great kind of entry point and ingress if you want to start doing community work. And Microsoft do I want to say monitor. I don't know if monitor is the right, but their telemetry on the back of the tech community will actually show them and inform them about who's making those contributions as well. So they do have oversight. So it's not like nobody will ever look at what you're doing. Microsoft will know about it.
Yeah.
But you need some passion. That's a point you had with someone who showed up for a couple of weeks and then disappeared again. I tried to convince myself to go into this tech community, answer some questions. I tried it for 2 or 3 days, and then I was off. I just was too. It's not my way to contribute to the community. It's nothing I can do for a long time, for multiple reasons, and that's a point. I think for all community work, you have to find the right way for your contribution, what you like to do, what your passion is, to contribute to the community, and then you get definitely some connections in the community. The previous events for before Christmas has been with a lot of German community members, or members is maybe not the right word, leaders. So some who are running an own video broadcast, video stream every week for Microsoft Teams, running a Power Platform user group, streaming, no, not streaming, they are doing videos, explanation, calendar for Christmas time, running multiple user groups, speaker events, and of course, for organizing bigger community events like collab days in this case across the Alps. So it's from my point of view, amazing. Your story, you're sharing the tech community as a common story, and you created something new. You created a new community for not Europe, the world actually. Even with the first Teams Fest, I've seen some US speakers, and it was mind blowing for me. So I thought Teams Fest, yeah, it sounds interesting, sounds nice and cozy. And then I realized, my goodness, so many international speakers. What's going on? Where is it all coming from? It's amazing to see. Also seeing the growth of that.
That's an interesting point because, from what you were saying about, I take the part at the start, community contributions come in all different ways. You'll see Chris as an MVP or Vesku or Adam as an MVP or myself. Although we all have kind of common threads, which is like tech community, there are things that, for example, we do that are not so similar that people don't often see. So, for example, Chris does a lot of working with bugs with Microsoft internally, and that part doesn't get seen by anyone at all. Vesku does an insane amount of blogging. In fact, he's just been recognized by the team's product team for his blogging. And do you want to tell them, Vesku? Do you want to? How many views have you had now?
Should I? Yeah. Okay. Perhaps I should. This week I read. Was it yesterday? I think I kind of crossed that 1 million yearly views on my blog.
Congratulations!
810,000 unique visitors, not unique ones, but visitors. So 800,000. Yeah, it's kind of, there's a lot of corona or COVID effect there because people are hungry for information and they are searching for a lot of that. So it was amazing to see how it grows. And I don't know, when I was starting to look at the numbers and figuring, okay, I might get to the million by the end of the year, and I did it. So it was excellent.
Crazy.
And Adam and I tend to speak quite a lot. So there are areas where we kind of diverge from each other, but we keep the tech community and Teams Nation at the kind of core. And so, as you say, Michael, people will find their own ways to contribute. There's writing books, there's doing technical social media, there's doing podcasting. You got to do what kind of feels comfortable. And when you start doing that, I think whatever route you come in, you will pretty quickly find the kind of people and the wider community. And I'm still meeting people now, like 2 years after starting working in the community. I know I met you, Michael, like relatively early when we did the first Teams Fest, as it were. But Thorsten, I didn't, I've met, Thorsten really up until or known Thorsten till a few months ago, as it were. So, and going forward, people have got to do what they're happy with, because, as said, we've got busy lives, we've got busy working jobs, and if we're going to sustain that community work, we've got to do it in mediums that we enjoy.
Yeah,
absolutely. So, before we started the recording, you have mentioned 2020 was quite a busy year. When you take a look into 2021, you also mentioned it will be quite a busy year. Is there something you may want to share? Something you want to highlight?
I can talk about basically what we do now. Yeah, I can see that.
Michael, you just spoiled that one. You about to talk.
Promotion.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, of course. Teams Nation 2021, obviously under the new name, it's going to be the same format. There's still going to be a range of different Teams tracks. We've introduced some new tracks this year. The call for speaker, okay, that is going to be announced at our next Teams Nation monthly meetup. So if anyone's
January, right?
In January, yeah. So if anyone hasn't registered to, register for that on Meetup and come and see us announce. But one of the big things is, and one of the reasons we want people to come along is because we're going to announce some of the big names that are going to be there in May. So it's going to be slightly bigger than before. We can't say what size at the moment, but we're going to go a little bit bigger again.
But not too much.
Not too crazy.
At least that's the plan now. We are still evaluating it. We still have time before we announce anything.
That's right. And we are going to do something this time around with the tracks that's a bit different from what we've done last time. So there's going to be 2 new tracks. They're not just going to be speaking tracks, as it were. They're going to be more interactive and something different. So there's going to be some surprises there that are announced too. So the core elements remain, but we're changing it up a little bit. And we want to have a little bit of a fresh feel. I think a lot of people are conscious of online fatigue with virtual events or replication of the same content. Yeah, I think we can all kind of put our hands up. So it's going to be a little bit bigger than before. We've got some absolutely amazing speakers, this time around that I had a list. I had a bit like Santa Claus. I had a list to go around and get people, and we managed to get them all. So yeah, we just hope obviously that it's a great show. We've tried to be more inclusive again this time around as well as we expand, and it kind of goes more global themed as opposed to focusing on Europe. And yeah, we hope we get lots of people that are going to apply for it. I mean, Chris done an excellent job in the production last year. I'm sure he's gonna be doing the production again, particularly on the keynote and the like. Vesku and Adam are going to be running around. We're going to have the moderator team, hopefully, that's back. And you were part of the moderator team, Michael. You guys did a fab job. You did a great job.
Yeah. I hope so. Yes, and that's the reason why I got the huge eyes and a big surprise in my face, because you said you will grow again, and it has been between 9 a.m. CET until 7 p.m. CET, and then there was a closing session. So it was quite a full day, 8 tracks, and you want to grow. Oh ha! I'm definitely interested to see it.
Only a little bit, and hopefully, right, when the call for speaker comes out, you'll kind of understand our reasoning about that. A lot of people ask us, they say you're going to go multi-day and kind of do like 2 days, but do it kind of a little bit shorter. And our thinking on it at this time kind of remains like it was before. You know, quite a few people stayed a whole day and kind of almost gorge on all of the sessions, as it were. So it's almost a bit like, you know, they have so much and then they give it a break. Others just come from maybe 2 or 3 hours of their day and they catch up with the rest on demand. We try to be conscious of speakers' time and also attendees, because they're so busy. More people actually say, I'd rather it be on one day than having to come back next week or spend several days, because we do it during the week, you see. So people don't want to take too much time off work, or they might have other stuff to do in their day.
Yeah, if we switch that the weekend, we people won't be able to attend because they are busy all week and they want to spend the weekend with family. So I guess we are, or not guess, but I think we are sticking to the 1 day, single day. It may be a long one, and it would be really rough to do second day like that for us as organizers. Yeah, Adam and I were running through different tracks all the times and checking out things. I had that 9 team sessions running all the time, because there was launch, of course, kind of to be able to monitor everything. And it's quite a day, I have to say, but it's fun and it's rewarding as well, because it's the community is very, very, very strongly present and helping us out. So we may need to draft a few more moderators to help us out there. So Thorsten, looking at you already.
No problem, of course. I will contribute. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's a great, crazy and fun day. Of course, hopefully, Webb, you are doing your NDI or some kind of magic tricks session.
Yeah, I'll come up with something.
Just the kind of
Yeah, sorry, I just revealed the superstar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, Chris is the unsung kind of hero of the Teams Fest events, because Chris does all of the production and deals with a lot of the actual, like the files and media after the event has actually happened. You see, me and Vesku get to kind of we do the bit up front, right? We kind of deal with the speakers and that, and on the day after the day is finished, we kind of just wipe our hands and then walk away from it at the end, like eating the dinner and not doing the dishes afterwards, right? Whereas Chris and Adam have to do all the post-production work. And so we all share the responsibilities kind of equally on it. And the last time around in October, it got to a size whereby we had to look outside of ourselves in order to be able to do the event, because we just couldn't run it efficiently, I would say, when it got to that size. So by having the moderator team in place, that made the kind of the day itself run far much smoother. And next time in May, we hope to have that kind of close relationship with a moderator team as well. They're kind of all our friends, all the people we know. They chip in. They do a long day. It's a long time to manage and do session after session, and they're spending time away from their families. So we really appreciate it. For us, they made the event, as it were.
Yeah, when I did all the recordings and doing all the editing there, I got to see the moderator's introduction and ending for every session, and they did a really good job. I mean, I think it definitely added icing to the cake as far as the event. I think they did a real good job introducing all the speakers and everything. I think it just made it flow really well.
Yeah, introducing those speakers and facilitating those speakers, I mean, it's such an important job. I mean, some speakers get really nervous about speaking, whether it's their first time, or they can be seasoned speakers, but they get really tense before the events and stuff. So being able to help the speakers, we think, just contributed to a better performance all round. So it's not just about them helping us. The moderators also, we got great feedback from all the speakers on the moderators, because they were so friendly. They put everyone at ease, and then they kind of led them in to giving a great performance on the day.
And I just want to add some props for the post-production. It was so fast. It was incredible to see the videos coming out, releasing on YouTube. I think the first has been on YouTube at your time zone, at least, the same day. So you took the videos from the day, cut out the sessions, and re-uploaded it to YouTube in such a short time frame. That was amazing. So
my computer got some work in a few days after that. I think I worked on it for a good 4 days straight. I mean, it was, spend 5-10 minutes cutting the clip, and then 10-20 minutes to encode it. I don't know. There was a lot of them. It took a while, but it wasn't too bad.
And that's the thing, right, about community. I mean, even doing sessions like this, every week or every other week that you guys do in these, we understand how much work you guys put into it to do all the editing and the post-production, to be able to source the apps in order to be able to run these, to have the time to be able to do it, to plan with the speakers. We understand, and that's why, kind of going full circle, when we're at Ignite, when we see each other, or why we understand exactly how much you guys are doing towards this, and that's why when we meet in person, we always have such a good time. We always kind of have that like kindred spirits, as it were, because we know how much effort everyone puts into making this quite a vibrant community.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, and perhaps something to add there on the Teams Nation part. We try to make it easy for speakers, as easy as possible when we are kind of drafting people in and doing the PowerPoint template, for example, and using the Teams meeting. I've seen lots of events who don't dare to use Teams meetings for these events, and I think that's. But it made us a way more easier way to create it.
So far, I mean, so far we've been lucky that we haven't exceeded the Teams meeting limit yet. I mean, they keep raising it every time we have an event. So we're like, all right, well, we keep getting more audience, but we're not pushing the limit yet. But it's like, okay, well, we almost got there last time. Should we change it? But then they bump it up 50, 100 more people. We're like, all right, we should be okay.
Yeah, and of course, the next time we should have that 1K interactive meetings anyway, so that can help there as well. Of course, we are spread around 8 tracks, so it also makes the difference there.
Yeah.
That's also something I realized. So many events has used the live event feature from Teams, and it's pretty hard to interact with the audience, and it's also boring is a wrong word, but it's pretty hard to get a feeling for this online event, because you just jump into a almost empty room, right?
It is. I mean, we've all done a lot. All 5 of us have done a lot of virtual events, and over the course of this year, you kind of almost feel separated from the audience. I mean, you're in your room. There's no interaction during the session. The only way you've got any kind of, I guess, interaction with the audience is via Q&A, and it's a bizarre feeling if you don't get any questions with Q&A. You feel like you're doing a session. Nobody's there, and then you have to ask the producer afterwards. You say, "Hey, was there anyone that turned up to that session in the first place?" And they say, "Yes, 50 people turned up," and it's a bizarre sensation. Just last year when we were at Ignite, we were standing on the stage in front of 150 to 200 people. So to move from that format to something like a live event where there's no interactivity and you're kind of speaking at no one. I can see why some people just don't like this and want to get back to speaking in person as soon as possible. But it's like you said at the beginning, guys. You said at the beginning, in this format, we're actually reaching far many more people than we ever have done. This year, I've spoken in German events, I think it's 8 times over the course of this year. If that was in person, I wouldn't have spoken in Germany at all, or maybe for one event if I had the money to fly over and do that. It's also introduced me to a lot of people in the community as well. I don't know what all of you guys think. I kind of see it more hybrid going back. I think it's the benefits of both moving forward. I think
that's something
could be an option to do meetups hybrid in the future, because you have a broader audience then, definitely, yeah. And it's easier to get speakers also, so you can invite speakers from all over the world if you do it virtually. So it's also interesting for organizers to do it virtual. Yeah.
I mean, we would have never have got the range of speakers. We were blown away by the lineup last year, and you're going to want to see it for May. You're going to want to see that lineup for May. I tell you what, it's going to be like a sledgehammer, that lineup in May.
We are not hyping it up. We're just telling the truth.
honestly, it is really going to be something. But we would have never have got the caliber of speaker if it was an in-person event. Because when we started doing this, we were unknown at the time, but also as well, you would never get that range of people there in one place. That was only possible, as it were, for virtual. So I just think that going forward, it's going to be a mix of both. Teams Nation is always going to be a virtual event. It will never, because of now who we kind of have speaking and stuff like that. I don't think it's possible to be able to do it in person.
Well, that and B, it's a free event. I ain't got a pocket big enough to front load the cost of an in-person event.
Yeah, we'd have to put our houses down as collateral to get, to buy an event. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and we started online before all this COVID happened. The European Teams user group, Teams Fest, that was all online, and that was kind of a very easy way, or should I say, very democratizing way to bring in the people together and share the knowledge, and kind of you have this new level of kind of inclusivity. You're getting people there. Everybody is equal in that sense. You don't have the travel costs. You don't have to worry about that. If you come in and do that 1 hour presentation and you are really busy otherwise, it's possible. And of course, that kind of events will remain. There will be virtual events, but even when we can start seeing each other, then there will be on-site events as well.
And as you said, so if I have some specific topics who I'm interested in, I can jump in, watch the session, and go out and do my normal work then, and switch in again when there's another topic which I'm interested in. And it's not possible when I'm on site, or it doesn't make sense to switch in and switch off when I'm on site.
Yeah, if you were doing that at Ignite, you would be running through a large area. From the venue, from the other floor to another, and the session would be over before you even get there.
And that's what I think makes using Teams meetings kind of like one of the benefits of our event is it does bridge that gap between a person, the hybrid nature, because after the session you can turn on cameras, you can talk, voice, ask questions, have that interaction that you don't get with some of the other tools and live events and whatnot. When it's just a QA stream here and there, people don't seem to engage as much that way. So I think that gives the benefit of actually showing up live, because you can ask questions and interact with the speakers after the fact. So
absolutely.
Yeah, at the core of it, I mean, even though we're kind of virtual and have always been virtual, we try to put people at the center of it. I mean, we go to a lot of events, we speak at a lot of events, and before we all spoke, we actually attended a lot of events too. So we try to put people and the speakers at the core of it, and it will always be about that, the kind of the experience first, how easy it is for the speaker to present, how good they feel before they're going to go on, how easy is it for people to join. Those are the type of metrics. I mean, you'll see over this last year the rise of like really large events. How big can we do them? I mean, 2021 you'll probably have an event with like 34 tracks spanning over 5 days, and it's just kind of continuous on all going. I mean, that's the kind of way it's going between. They want to be the biggest and the largest and the best. That's never been. We hold some different values, and one of them is that we want to give attendees and speakers a really great time. If we can achieve good levels in that speakers sessions, then we've done our job. We've got them coming to listen to. It doesn't need to be 20,000 people, as long as we get a good turnout for the speakers and it's worthwhile in their time. As long as they're giving great sessions to the people that turn up. I think part of this is driven from the fact that Vesku, Chris, Adam, and I all work for businesses. We all work for, as I work as a head of education, and Chris and Vesku and Adam are architects and consultants. I'm a former architect. We work for corporate businesses. We do that every single day in our normal jobs. So when we do these events, we want to create an event that we ourselves would want to come to. And we continue to take feedback from people. Like, don't get me wrong, the last Teams Fest was a massive success, and we got absolutely panned for the feedback form. There were notes there, people were saying this is absolute rubbish, this feedback form and stuff. So every event we kind of tighten it up, clean up a little bit, as it were, and keep what's good. rather than trying to completely revolutionize it, make it massively big, or try to push it into a kind of business format, I would say.
Good to hear that.
Yeah.
So, because this is a Christmas session, is there something? I know this Christmas is definitely different as previous years. So, is there something you are doing maybe the same as the years before? Let me put the question in this like this, because everyone is talking about, oh, now it's completely different to the previous years. Is there something you are still doing? Is there some favorite thing you are doing?
Dinner. Of course, there's a Christmas dinner, more or less, and yeah, getting some kind of Christmas tree anyway, and then you are not meeting much family there. Of course, that's certainly different. Hoping to get a sauna during Christmas. That's probably one thing. Yeah, Chris is laughing, and the other Chris is just staring. Okay, no, not again. But hey, it's Finland.
The English, something I'll be doing the same is I'll still be listening to the good old Queen's speech that we have here in the UK, right? If anyone, doesn't know that about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, everyone's full up from dinner, they've had a few drinks, and we all sit down in front of the TV and we watch the Queen's speech telling us about how good the next year is going to be. So that'll be the same for us and the family, and I'm getting to an age where I'm starting to fall asleep after dinner at Christmas. So hopefully a little kip as well.
Yeah, it's all the same here for me pretty much. Minus just we're just doing direct family. It's a much smaller group of people of us getting together, not the extended family, but not much different than that.
So you are skipping the Queen's speech.
Yeah, we usually got the parades and stuff on TV, but I don't even think those are going on. If they are, they're not the same. I never really watch those. We sit down and watch some football, and well, that's Thanksgiving. Christmas, I don't even know. Sometimes basketball, I guess, is usually on Christmas Day, but not into the college thing.
That's awesome.
Yeah. What about you, Michael?
I'm still laughing about Vesku having a sauna on Christmas Day. I'm sorry, but I know how much he loves his saunas being in Finland.
Yeah, that's our tradition. So it's it's not traditional in every Christmas, but we're trying to do that now and then at least, or at least a day before Christmas or something like that. It's a great way, but let's see how the plans evolve. When you have little kids, or little kid at home, it just things may change or plans may change. You don't want to. We've been planning this year all kind of going through the schedule, so I might not want to schedule it too tightly. I know some people have very strict Christmas routines, like my parents, and so that's perhaps the one reason I'm not following the strict kind of let's do this, and this during the Christmas Eve. And so that's a kind of one of the reasons. But yeah, good food, kind of a traditional food here and there, and that's part of the Finnish Christmas as well, and presents, of course.
Vesku, do the Finnish have Brussels sprouts with their Christmas dinner? Because we do here in the UK.
I have no idea what you just said. So could you say it in Finnish?
Okay. I don't know what Brussels sprouts is in Finnish, but they're like small Brussels sprouts are like small cabbages that you would have on your plate. Look them up. Okay, that's your okay. Okay, that's
No, I don't think so. What I like is I really enjoy gravlax, and especially if you use some whiskey in there. So it's basically a salt cured salmon. In case gravlax is not the. I looked it up. It's gravilohi in Finnish, but it's gravlax is the English name, so everybody should know that. but I know it's from Sweden side, so unfortunately Adam is not here. But yeah, and then just used some smoky whiskey to kind of spice it up, and in a kind of taste wise, so it's excellent.
How about you guys? Before what are you guys doing this? This Christmas. I mean, same. I mean, is it going to be similar for you this year?
Kind of. So I'm usually traveling between 1.5 and 2,000 kilometers during the Christmas days because my family is pretty spread in the northern Germany, and I live in the south of Germany. So I have to travel from Munich to Berlin, and then it will be pretty much the same, but the people in the same house are definitely way less. So we split it up, the family parts, to see just I think five adults, and now we have multiple stops for the whole days to see the family. But still, we will meet the family, and that's important for me as well. So that's the reason why I try not to complain about 2,000 kilometers. I try at the end of the travel, and I sit down for 15 or 20 hours traveling. It's definitely not happening. I will complain definitely, but it's all forgotten when I sit down with the family and see the family who's far away right now. So I do it. I don't know how to describe it in English. I like to do it because I see the family. It's maybe good.
Yeah, I mean it's like kind of like it's a good kind of analogy for the community, for the tech community. I can guarantee there'll be two sets of people I'll be kind of communicating with on Christmas Day, right? There'll be my family, my son and my wife and my parents and the like, and then there'll be these guys. I'll be asking them, how they finding Christmas Day, or there'll be something about Teams or something like that. I mean, I literally talk to these guys every single day. Even on like my birthday, where you think I'd want some privacy with my family. No, I'm talking to these guys. So, I mean, I'm sure you find it the same in the community, right? Where it kind of, it's not just about IT anymore. It's you end up spending a lot talking about your life and who you are as a person. So, I never thought that possible when I started answering people's questions on a forum in the tech community, but that's kind of what it leads to in the end. And that's why we're all still here, and you get all these perennial, like 8-10 times MVPs, because it's a very good and a thing to be involved in. So any technical person that feels isolated, there are thousands of people out there, in these communities that come and join us, come and be part of our gang.
Yeah,
definitely. And you, Thorsten?
As Chris said, on my side, it will be similar to the last years. It will get a little bit smaller, so only the direct family, and on the first and second Christmas Day, we will stay at home, and we'll do some Netflixing and couching, and that's fine.
It's good to avoid Netflix and chill. Yeah. Good. So, anything else you want to share with the community? Do you want to talk about in this?
It's the longest episode ever, I guess.
No, I think we are still under 1 hour, maybe. Not sure. Anyway, I would like to say thank you to all of you, especially because it was hard to find a meeting time before Christmas over different time zones. And I'm happy you made it. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.
Enjoy your Christmas days.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
I'll be seeing you for dinner again at the next in-person Ignite, I'm sure.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Pleasure, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be really fun seeing it in person, but this will do until that.
We'll all eat Scrabble-ax or whatever it was, the Vesku, with lots of whiskey.
We have to bring
It's
something,
Christmas
right?
episode, so we also bring glöggi.
Exactly.
So for everyone who joined us and is not familiar with the German language, I will now do the outro part. Once again, thank you for watching, and thank you also for listening. I was not talking to Thorsten before, so there will be maybe some sessions, maybe not, some sessions next year in English as well on the Talk Microsoft 365 channel. So it will be a surprise. No pressure on you, Thorsten.
Yeah.
So once again, thank you for all of you. I will do the rest because it's a habit with a specific term at the end in German. And thank you very much so far. Okay. Thorsten, wie immer, herzlichen Dank auch für deine Zeit und für eure Zeit, für alle, die den Podcast gehört haben. Ihr könnt die Gesichter von den 3 Teams Nations, ja, wie sagt man es jetzt auf Deutsch? Ach Gott, ich bin durcheinander.
Kriegt er nicht.
Von den dreien könnt ihr dann in den Videos schauen. Für alle, die das jetzt nicht alles auf ein Stück gucken wollten, ihr könnt gerne den Podcast hören. Und wie immer sage ich, teilt es schön mit Hund, Katze, Maus, Oma, Opa, Onkel, Tante und dem Nachbarn. Wie war das? Dem Weihnachtsmann. Heute ist Weihnachtsspecial. Weihnachtsmann. Ja. In dem Sinne, Dankeschön. One more time, thank you guys.
Thank you guys.
Thank you, bye.
Thank you, bye.